Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So today it's Friday, and that usually means that we do a little bit of a news roundup video on everything that's been happening on the Blizzard forums and in other parts of the Overwatch community. We've covered a lot of these posts from this week already though in other videos, so instead we'll be highlighting interesting and fun posts that you may have missed. And some of these are recent, but some are a little bit older. Either way, it should make for a really chill way to sort of finish out your week of Overwatch, as we usually try to be really analytical of our content, and a lot of news has come out this week, so hopefully this will be, you know, refreshing. You can sort of kick back with a cup of tea and have a little bit of a listen. But anyway, let's get started.
So kicking off our list of fun and interesting articles and news pieces, but also just posts from here and there, we have a piece about Overwatch loot boxes and their drop rate being exposed in China due to a new law. Now this is actually not really news at all. It was actually quite a while back that this law was passed, or at least suggested, but there was actually an r/Overwatch Reddit post yesterday that made us look back into it, and we realized we hadn't really ever highlighted this piece of news, and it is actually quite important and very interesting, so we thought we'd include it here. So essentially a law was passed in China that will force game developers that have in-game goods and a drop rate for these in-game goods to display their drop rate or just make it publicly available. Of course, this does include Blizzard, as Blizzard have a huge audience in China, and it shouldn't be too long until the loot box drop rates are fully disclosed by Blizzard themselves. I believe this law was passed back in December, so I assume what they're doing right now is looking into how this should be properly implemented and how they can enforce all of this. This sort of thing is definitely not done because people want to desperately know how lucky they have to be to get that Torbjorn Epic skin, just because there have historically been games that have a much lower drop rate than what they have previously announced, or that they've changed it around a lot and had it be dynamic. So Blizzard are fine here, and it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, but really this is not a problem for them, I don't imagine, but we wanted to include this little bit of news but not news in here, since I feel like a lot of people probably have missed this.
Next, we have a little bit of a fun fact by Jeff Kaplan himself. We made a video featuring other information on the post back when it was made, but we haven't seen anybody really cover on this in particular, so we wanted to highlight a different part of the same comment this time around. Essentially, it's Jeff Kaplan on the Overwatch forums talking about time warping and slowing down time in custom games. In the last bit of the comment, he goes on to say, fun fact, LUCIO'S first ult used to be a total timescale for everything in the match, except for Lucio. And this is another one of those moments where Kaplan highlights how the game used to work back in alpha and even earlier testing. And even though it's just a bit of a fun and interesting tidbit, what I do find interesting is that it means that we could very well go back to some sort of timescale ability for future heroes. I mean, they have the ability to do that is what I mean. Whilst it would be a really impactful ability that would also change the pace of the game in a way that hasn't been done before, it would definitely make for an interesting hero concept, especially with the likes of Tracer in the game as well.
Next up, we have a bit of a funny piece of news, which doesn't relate directly to Overwatch, and some of you might have actually seen it. It was on Reddit, quite high up yesterday actually, and it's this animation right here from a mobile game that is not Overwatch, but this animation looks fairly similar, don't you think? Yeah, they essentially just ripped Genji's animation, the highlight intro where he splits the pumpkin. In this case, a guy splits a watermelon instead and sort of pans around the other side, so it's not exactly the same, but it is incredibly similar. And I do feel like this sort of thing is a little bit ridiculous because Overwatch is so big, they're bound to be found out. It's not like this sort of thing is just gonna go by unnoticed, but it is very funny to see, I feel at least. I don't imagine Blizzard are too upset about this in the way that it doesn't take away any revenue from them, but it is still sort of theft of their content. I think they've cracked down on this a little bit in the past as well. There have been other mobile games stealing content from Overwatch. There was one hero-based mobile game that just basically ripped off Tracer and a bunch of other heroes. So this isn't the first time that we see mobile games try to steal Overwatch art assets or concepts in an attempt to capitalize off of the success of the game, but on a mobile platform instead. Anyway, just a little funny piece of news there. And next up, we have a fairly similar piece in the way that it's about Overwatch visual content, about skins actually, and that's actually a piece of news that we're including in this. So yeah, let's move on to the next section.
Now we want to go over another game entirely, which is Heroes of the Storm. And no doubt you've seen a lot of people reporting on the new Zarya skins in Heroes of the Storm, but in case you missed it, here they are again. We wanted to show this off, so we didn't cover this when it was released Tuesday night, I think it was. But it is one of those discussions where we wanted to highlight how amazing the Zarya skins are in Heroes of the Storm, and also having colour variations of the same skin as well. Overwatch has released some really awesome skins over the past sort of few months, especially with events, but I don't get why we can't see similar skins for Zarya. She's probably probably the hero that has the worst skins in the game thus far, and obviously Blizzard are theming most skins together with the in-game events, both in Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm. It could be like a big skin update later in the year, and it would still sell a lot of loot boxes, as the community definitely can't get enough of some skins. And when you see other games within Blizzard making amazing skins for some heroes, you obviously want them in your own game. But with that out of the way, Miska's going to go over the final piece in today's video.
And we're finishing this video off with another sort of funny clip, I guess you could say. This is actually a little bit of news to us. It does have to do with a bug in the game, and to maybe not too many people's surprise, it's to do with Roadhog's hook. Now, I've seen a few bugs of Roadhog's hook just recently in game actually. I've seen Roadhogs manage to throw themselves off the side of the map when trying to throw other people off the map by hooking and then turning, but somehow they get thrown off the map instead. It's a little bit weird, but this one is something else. This is more than just a minor bug or something that just looks a bit off, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. As you can see, the Genji sort of gets hooked by the Roadhog, but I'm not sure what happens after that. I think it's some sort of weird interaction between the dash and the hook that just, well, creates this mess of an interaction right here. But it is an incredibly funny clip, I have to say. Many thanks to Reddit user u/decode for that clip. And apparently it sort of has to do with the Roadhog being mid-air when hooking as well. And there have been other people that have actually experienced this bug as well. So it's not an incredibly rare case where only one person has ever seen this happen. But if multiple people have reported on it, then there are a lot of people that probably haven't reported on it. But yeah, some more bugs with Roadhog's hook. I'm not too surprised. I don't think he can do anything but laugh at this sort of thing. There are always going to be bugs in games, and Blizzard are chugging through them and getting through a lot of bugs. There have been a lot of hotfixes recently as well, and I do really appreciate that from the development team. So yeah, overall, just great job. This sort of thing is funny a bit now and again, but as you might have seen recently on this channel as well, there are quite a few bugs that Blizzard still need to iron out.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel, and it shows that you want more roundup videos like this. Let us know what your favourite story of today was, and also if there are any stories that you think we may have missed that you would like us to cover. But that's it for now. Take care. We'll see you next time.